Welcome to the Final Scoop Hooligan Chronicles joint podcast. My name is Robert Schinetsky, the supplement engineer. Joining me, as always, is my panoply of compatriots in the supplement industry, minus Mr. Late, who's always late, who shall remain nameless. There we go. Until he shows up. Robert Samborsky, host of the Hooligan Chronicles podcast and owner of Apollon Nutrition. Lukasz, Rytkowski, Prometeus Intelligent Sports Technology. Welcome, everyone and anyone. Thank you for joining us. Post up any comments, questions, queries, quips, or smart-ass remarks you have for our panel, and we're off to the races. How is everyone doing?
Good. How are you guys doing? How's everything? It's been a while.
Lukasz?
It's been a while, right?
This feels a little rusty, but I guess we can get going. Okay,
Yeah,
who's going to start with the first topic?
I'm good. I just went and saw the Super Mario movie. Overall, it was very good, but there were some issues that I had with it. There was just some dark, morose character in there, which makes it not okay for kids. So Sandy and I were thinking about going to take the halfling to go see it on Monday. And no, there's some weird stuff where they talk about self-sacrifice and suicide and stuff like that in there. That was very dark. Outside of that, it's great for adults. If you're a fan of the video games, you will love it. It's very happy. I'm excited to see what else movies come out of the Nintendo cinematic universe.
I know that Shane went to see it, I think, on Wednesday with Ava, and he liked it. But I mean, I don't know much about it. There he is.
About goddamn time.
Bro, I'm using my phone. The fuck?
Do they not have computers or internet in Jersey?
No, so my webcam I thought was in my suitcase, but I don't know where it is. And my laptop sucks dick. Is there like feedback?
There's some serious feedback.
Just as usual, late and fucked.
Chris, Justin, welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Ancient One, I have no idea who that is, but first-time commenter on this platform. We're also triple streaming. We're on Supplement Engineer YouTube channel, the Hooligan Chronicles YouTube channel, and Supplement Engineer on Twitch as well. So whatever platform you're on, feel free to post it up. Yes, it is, Chris. That is a wonderful benefit of using StreamYard, which is what I use for all recording and broadcast streams. So it allows us to dual stream across Dub One. So I figure we'll get more input this way, more questions from everything. No, it's a good thing. I'm glad it's finally working because we just got the okay from Google, YouTube, or whatever to have it going yesterday.
Is this better?
Talk again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fuck me, this is bullshit.
Good old Shane.
I'm getting there. I don't know what the fuck it's doing.
Sean, Subtalk Radio. Shane, you and me later. Dinner on Robbie.
You forgot I'm Jewish.
That took me for a second because I'm thinking, wait, it's Good Friday, Passover's going on, so does that mean you can't go out to eat? But then I remember, never mind, that we're really leaning into the Jewish stereotype, and we just
By the way, what does it mean Passover? What do you do on that day?
You sacrifice a lamb and you paint the blood on your door, just like in the Ten Commandments.
There you go. It's a scary movie.
Or a virgin.
Is this better?
You sacrifice a virgin too.
Is that better?
Yes.
Much better.
Whatever you did.
For a split second. There you go.
Now I'm good.
All right.
Just in case you're all waiting, I'm ready now.
All right. What are you drinking?
Oh wait,
Just work.
cameras. Where's the fucking camera? Oh, there it's over here.
Ah. Where did you get that, or what store did you find that at?
Aries Nutrition.
Ah, okay. How do you like the flavor? Without spoiling the forthcoming review.
I don't know if I'm going to do a review. I don't like reviewing energy drinks too close to Clash of Cans. But I like this one and the orange one. I don't like the icy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Your
Oh,
connection
Shane,
stopped, by the way.
My connection
did you
sucks
like-
dick. Fuck.
it's fine. Just cut off your camera. The audio, it'll be better. That'll help with it, at least, and it'll be less distracting. We'll cover up the ugly.
But the sound is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun.
Chris, I've missed you all. Excited to see you back.
Now
Thank you
is a
very
bit
much for the love and support.
I'm just gonna roll on 5G and just pay the fucking bill.
All right, so Shane, I just came back from seeing Super Mario with Sandy. Before we all wait for some people to get some supplement questions in here, because if not, I don't know what other products. I haven't been testing too many products lately. I've been more writing than anything. What did you think of the Super Mario movie?
I liked it. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Did you think the blue star in the little prison cage was a little weird?
No, I thought he was fucking phenomenal. He was hilarious. Yeah,
Really?
he was depressing as hell.
I know. I just found that really weird. Like, if it's a kids movie, why would you put some of those lines in a kids movie? That's what
Because
didn't make
adults
sense
bring
to me.
their kids. Adults come with their kids. They're gonna have something to laugh at. Adults feel miserable. Perfect.
I guess so. It didn't connect with me that way. I thought the rest of the movie was great, but every time that little thing was on screen was fucking weird. Really weird.
No, he was the highlight of my day.
Of course you would say that.
I thought he was one of the funniest parts. Do you have a bookshelf behind you?
Yes, I'm house sitting for some friends of ours down the street right now, and they have a dog, so I'm house sitting and watching their dog. I woke up at 3 this morning to bring them to the airport.
Hold on.
when they
Is this your house?
Huh?
Is this your house?
No. This is a friend's house that we're watching. I mean, I have bookshelves in my house. They don't look near this nice, though. Now, this is an older, retired couple. They were previously lawyers, and then they worked at Sandy's school that she taught at right when we moved to Texas. And they kind of took us under their wing. And so they were instrumental in showing us all around the distilleries, restaurants, and the neighborhoods in and around Austin, which has been awesome. So, and they're kind of like, surrogate family, because all of our family's back in Louisiana. So it's kind of our Texas family here.
Okay.
So.
What do people do with book collections? Just out of curiosity.
Read them?
They find safes.
But there's an end to it, right? Like once you read it, are you gonna read it again?
Do you rewatch movies?
Yeah, but not DVDs. I want to put it on display.
I don't know. You got to have somewhere to put them. I don't know. I haven't reread many books. I've reread, I think, 2 books in my entire life. But eventually I'm going to go back and reread some of them.
Do you think that book collection behind you is reread all of them entirely? Or is it more of like a, look at me, I have a library?
I don't know, but it is very impressive. He loves to read a lot of history stuff. So a lot of it is autobiographies, biographies, history of baseball. He was a very successful baseball player in college at the University of North Carolina, and then did salary arbitration for Major League Baseball players.
I was just curious about the books.
Guy. So a lot of it is baseball memorabilia and religious texts, because he's also an ordained minister and things like that.
Oh, okay. So some of it might be like a
reference materials and
type
stuff
thing.
like that. Yeah, and some of it could be all that kind of stuff. So, Chris, when it comes to quality products, I know Robbie is the king of quality, but are there any other current suppler formulators you trust? So are we talking about formulators or supplement companies or manufacturers? Because I feel like this question is kind of crossing the streams a bit.
I think I get what he's asking. I think that, number one, I think it's a very, very multi-dimensional kind of like answer. Okay, you can't just answer with one answer, and I think you're right, Robert, on this one, because number one, it comes to manufacturing. People don't often talk about manufacturing, but that plays a huge part. Do they do third-party testing? Do they do proper QC? Do they actually check all the materials that are coming in? Are they testing them? Are they doing product analysis? So there's so many things that go into it. And let's face it, there is a lot of manufacturers out there that are absolutely terrible. And the product either doesn't contain what it's supposed to, it has tainted products. I mean, we've seen that before, underdosed, etc., etc., etc. So it does happen. Now, when it comes to brands, if we're talking about specifically brands, not every brand owner is actually formulating his products. Sometimes they hire people from outside. Sometimes they have somebody within the company who's formulating that you don't even know about the person. So that gets very tricky. I do formulate my products myself, but if I do need help and somebody to assist me, to advise me, then it's no secret that I turn to Robert, and so he's helped me with numerous products, and of course I'm very grateful. So I feel on definitely some of the Apollon products like a team effort when it comes to formulating. Now, when it comes to other brands specifically, I can't speak for who's formulating for them because truly I just don't know. I mean, that's a fact. I don't know who's formulating for who. Are they formulating themselves? Are they hiring somebody from outside? But in general, I can say that there are few companies, not a lot, that I think that, deserve mentioning and they deserve the respect. Obviously, Morphogen comes to mind, like a Pro comes to mind, NutraBio comes to mind. There are quite a few companies that are definitely fairly decent, so to speak. Now, if you ask any of those companies who is the best, they're going to say, obviously, it's them, and rightfully so, because we should stand by what we are, putting out to the market. For example, there are some shady companies releasing crappy products and they claiming that they're the best on the market. Yes, we see it all the time, obviously. But if we're talking specifically about good companies, I don't view, for example, like a Pro or Morphogen as Apollon competitors because I think we do slightly different things. But at the same time, I do recognize at how good they are and what they're doing for these specific markets. So I think that there is not one answer for this because a lot comes to, people usually see the finished product on a shelf, but they don't, and it's easy to read the label. But at the same time, what goes into it, who is standing behind it, which manufacturer, which formulator, which brand, that's a whole other question. And of course, at the end, it's for the consumer to decide and to educate themselves as to what they want and what they expect from a certain product.
Lukasz, your thoughts?
No, I have no thoughts, but I have some questions, especially to you guys, because you work very closely together and you basically consult with each other. And I just wanted to ask maybe also for the listeners, is your cooperation, as far as consulting and producing the final product? Do you guys do a brainstorm, or basically you Robert send to Robic, let's say, your thoughts or your formula, or Robic sends you the list of ingredients that he would like to see in the formula? Maybe can you explain a bit more about that?
Depends on how much he pays me.
No, it's actually fairly simple. So Robert was, yes, he does indeed work with us. He works with Apollon Nutrition as independent contractor. He works with multiple brands. He writes content for us. He does a lot when it comes to, different articles for the website or for a product. He typically helps me with the writing for the labels and stuff like that. When it comes to products, maybe certain like Assassin or Hooligan, it's a little bit more straightforward and there are very slight adjustments to it. But when we are talking especially health products, especially like more of the nootropics where Robert really, really shines, I typically will send them a formula and say, listen, this is what I came up with. What do you think? Can you critique it, or maybe can you, give your 2 cents as to what you would add or perhaps even remove? He's very good with sometimes pointing as to synergy between the two ingredients, and he might say to me, well, essentially, these 2 ingredients are doing the same thing, so it's unnecessary. I've been working lately, and I can disclose this, I've been working on Hard Target 2, which probably will be released I think towards the end of the year, maybe beginning of 2024. So I sent Robert a list of ingredients, and it's slightly modified from the original. And I'm not going to say specifically which 2 ingredients, but Robert basically pointed out, he goes to me, well, these 2 are about, hitting the same thing, and they about the same ingredient targeting the same receptors. So one of them was removed and we replaced it with something else. So yeah, I would say that we have very, very good working relationship, and he understands Apollon very well, even though Robert in general is not a, high STEM kind of a guy, but he understands the brand. And I think that's the most important for somebody who works with a brand, is to understand. Even if you take Robert's writing, he will write an article for one company in certain language, but when he writes for Apollon Nutrition, you will see it on a label, and you will see it also on on articles and material. He uses completely different language, and he kind of adjusts to a brand. I mean, am I right, Robert? I mean, that's pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, there's certain clients that are more geared towards hard training athletes, intense training, like the demographic that Apollon specifically or tends to gravitate majority towards. I'm not saying that's the only one you go to, but that's the one that y'all primarily focus on. I've got other ones that are more of the casual fitness enthusiast lifestyle, kind of in that niche, like Uptime, Energy, Ghost, and all of those. Not that same close, but it's more in that style where it's more like the casual fitness enthusiast, just looking to build a little bit of muscle, lose some weight, get fit, get healthy, and that kind of stuff. And then I have one that is very much research specific. They want to lean into it very, we're going to formulate everything based on the research. We're going to write articles that are very just much in line with the research. We're not going to overhype. We're not going to oversell. We're not going to do anything like that. And then I'll have some one-off projects where they say, hey, we're working on an XYZ supplement for like female hormone health or prostate health. Can you give us something that's kind of salesy and schlocky like that? Almost like one of those MLM kind of pages you would see, or one of those giant like 5,000 word sale pages that's a glorified click funnel kind of thing. So I've done things all over, and like you said, Robbie, I will gear it towards the client. And but there's a limit to where I probably won't work for somebody if it's a bunch of pixie dusted stuff. I mean, I've got a certain reservation. There's got to be a certain amount of stuff where I'm just not going to say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. You need to find somebody else better. You need to go work, or just my writing style. I can't formulate. They want me to use certain language like lit and all. I don't even know what the fuck that word means. And based, I have any common vernacular colloquialisms. I have no idea what the hell that any of that means. I don't want to waste the time learning what that means. So when I have some of those things, I just say, hey, I will give it a crack. And if they don't like it, I'm just say, hey, you need to look for somebody else. This is not a good fit.
So what you try to say is that you want to stay in your whole, like, I would say, lane. So basically, you're not trying to pretend to be someone else. You try to take your own spin to a particular product or particular brand, right?
Yeah, I don't want to copycat another formula, although there are a lot of quality formulas out there. But I mean, at that point, what are you actually doing? You're just copying somebody else's formula. You're maybe adding 1 or 2 ingredients. Obviously, we all play with the same set of stuff, but if there's other things, so everybody's got a limit on what ingredients they can put in a product to, manage that cost to sales and profit ratio, all of that stuff. So say somebody like Legion Athletics. I've never done any work for them. I love their products. I recommend them. We're going back to Chris's question here of who do you guys recommend? Who do you trust? There's a Robbie mentioned a few. To add to that, I'd say Advanced Molecular Labs, Legion Athletics, the stuff Glaxon does. I don't understand everything Joey has done. I mean, he understands biochemistry at a level that I haven't gotten down to yet. He understands certain things. I still reach out to him. Inspired when Chris Waldron was with them. They were doing some great stuff. Ghost has released several solid products that I like. I like their energy drinks. Shane saw me buy one when we came out in Dallas in person. So I like the flavor of those. Their pump pre-workout is solid. So there are great companies, even if you don't have an affiliation with them. I would feel comfortable recommending their products just because I've used it. I know they're, for a company that massive, you're not going to be picked up and you're spiking it with DMAA and all kinds of illicit shit. But yeah, overall, I try to stick in my lane. I can veer outside of it for writing purposes and tonality. So like I'm not the hardcore meathead bodybuilder. I have written articles for that stuff, and I can lean into that. It's just kind of switching your brain. And there's a certain amount I can bend and flex a certain way. Like when it comes to women's health articles, I suck at it. It takes me 3 times as long to write an article about women's health because I will have to write it. I give it to Sandy, and she said, "Robert, this is awful. No, you can't talk like this." And I said, "Okay." So I will give it to her. She'll give me some suggestions on how to reorient my mindset, or I'll just give her the thing and say, "You write the introduction from this. Once we get into the ingredients, I can handle it from there." But that kind of thing, it's not in my wheelhouse. So I can bend a little bit, but I can't completely break and go off in some other tangent that I've never, or I just don't have a general interest in learning how to write.
Okay.
Justin, bridging off Chris's question, how do you know where brands and manufacturers get raw ingredients? Does overseas versus made in the USA matter? Does synthetic versus whole food matter? Most raw ingredients are either coming from India or China. Made in the USA means it's just manufactured here in the States, by and large. The vast majority, I'm not saying it's 100% for the raw materials. There are some made from other areas of the world, but primarily you're getting your raws from India and China. Labor's cheap. Synthetic versus whole food matter. Depends on the ingredient. So I think, natural vitamin C. So if I, get like an orange peel extract and standardize that for vitamin C content versus taking ascorbic acid or some kind of synthetic vitamin C that you get in every packet of Emergency, I think it's largely the same. That's my feelings, at least. I don't know if y'all have any differences one way or the other.
No, I agree pretty much. I mean, the thing is that most products, when you buy, you just don't know where the ingredients are coming from, who's manufacturing them, and etc. Because I mean, let's be honest, nobody inserts a little something into the packaging and says, well, here's a list of ingredients. This one is from this company and this is from that company. And even if they did, that still doesn't prove shit. At the end of the day, let's be honest, how many companies how many brands that where exactly they manufacture, because that is just not disclosed. I feel, what, it's funny because when I was in Russia, I don't know, maybe Lukasz can chip in. I don't know if it's done in Poland too, or Eastern Europe, but in Russia specifically, I remember quite a few brands. It would actually say on a label where it's manufactured. Like they didn't hide that fact at all. It was like, I guess, a statement of proof that it's manufactured in a proper facility or something like that. I don't know, but I definitely saw on quite a few labels that this product is manufactured at this, with this manufacturer. And I thought it was outstanding. Like I would personally, I actually mentioned it a few times to numerous people. I would have absolutely zero problem stating where I manufacture my product because Robert knows, Shane also knows where I manufacture. It's legit companies, proven. They work with some great other companies. Great, so I don't have anything to hide. I would be perfectly fine with that. So to me, stating that I think would validate a lot because a customer can go online and actually verify that it's a legit company, rather than how many brands we know that manufactured either in somebody's basement or manufactured with some companies that have been they had problems with the law numerous times, so that's been the case too. But I think it would help a lot knowing where your product is coming from, product that you're purchasing, because let's face it, I mean, every brand manufactures somewhere. I mean, we know Nutribio manufacturers themselves, we know Universal manufacturers themselves, but majority of companies, over 90%, they actually go to contract manufacturing, and there is nothing wrong with it. So if you're making an honest product, why not state where you're manufacturing it? Why the secrecy?
So do you think that the brands should disclose the fact that where they are producing their products?
I mean, you can't make anyone do anything against their will if they don't
Yeah, of
want
course,
to. But
I'm just
I would be
asking for
personally.
your opinion.
I think that would be helpful. I would be definitely on board with it. I would have no problem with that, because I think that, listen, when you're doing something honorable, when you do something honest, why not state? When you go to school and it's a reputable school, and say, for example, you're a lawyer or a doctor, and somebody's going to ask you, well, where did you graduate from? When you're going to say that you graduated from Yale or you graduated from Howard, I mean, that plays a huge part. That immediately elevates your status. So if you manufacture with a legit manufacturer who is very prestigious, who is well respected, well recognized, then why are you hiding? I mean, you should be proud of it. You should be proud that you manufacture with a legit company. I don't see anything wrong with it. And if you're a consumer, Lukasz, and you're buying, say, for example, Apollon products, I mean, I think that's just one way of verifying the authenticity of the product.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandeep, really loving Apollon Nutrition products. At least I can get them in India now.
Well,
I'm gonna be there soon.
Yeah, Shane is going to India, so give him some products when he arrives.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks.
Just slammed the new Lionheart Stack 3D collaboration. Yes, Robbie, the flavor is awesome. It's interesting. I have somebody else on this panel has not tried it yet. Actually, probably two people on this panel have not tried it yet.
The flavor has nothing to do with me. I mean, Shane's the one who picked that flavor, and this morning this old man gave Shane a hard time that it's not a kiwi flavor. So shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
What was the inspiration for the flavor, Shane?
The most important people on this panel have tried it.
All right.
So I can leave the studio right now.
Well, you and Robert haven't tried it. Hey, man, go out and buy it. Support a brother.
I did. I wrote the article announcing the thing. The release.
No. You support with your credit card, my friend.
That's true. That is true.
No, in terms of your question, yeah, Shane came up with a flavor. We were sitting with Paul, and Shane basically named 3 fruits that he likes, and that was pretty much it. It was very simple.
Yeah.
Okay. Creamy. Not sure if you guys touched on this, but are there any ingredients that can take hydration products to the next level? Aside from the usual 4 or 5 hydration ingredients, taurine, and 1 more ingredient.
Check Apollon Nutrition in May. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, you could check out the stuff for the forthcoming Apollon hydration product is going to be fun. You can check out Glaxon's electrolyte or Astrolite, their electrolyte supplement.
Yeah, Astrolite. That's pretty good.
Something that needs to be considered is the tonicity of the solution. So you've got hypertonic, isotonic, and hypotonic. And how that ratio of the amount of actives messed in solution and that ratio, so there's a certain percentage of that is going to dictate how rapidly, or be a factor in how rapidly and effectively your body absorbs the hydration beverage you're taking in. So if that's not on point, which is why there should be dosing directions, and customers and companies need to do a better job of don't just slap, hey, 1 scoop in 8 to 12 ounces. That's lazy. If you're actually trying to get the right tonicity of the beverage, and I've written an article many years back for Tiger Fitness on sports drinks in general and how to improve them and hydration stuff for sports drinks, because they were coming out with an electrolyte formula at the time. But there is a proper percentage for the solution concentration that you need it to be at for it to be absorbed optimally or as rapidly as possible. Chris, Shane, has the supplement industry slowed today? Seems like the release of products has not really been there.
Today? So today?
Just this week, the last month or two?
No. It's pretty fucking full on compared to previous years. I mean, Yeah, I might be I might be slow. That might be it. I might not have been keeping up as much as I should have. But it's pretty busy. Consider the amount of new products people are coming out and beverages. Beverage ain't an easy game, so like someone can come out with a beverage as fast as they would a usual product. That's pretty fucking good. That's not easy to do.
Are you getting burned out of all the new energy drinks coming to market?
Hell no.
No?
It's fucking fantastic. This is the best.
I feel like you're just being contrarian. Every time I bring up something, you're going to go right to the other point to say, no.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I think it's cool that so many people are doing bringing their own little twist to it and doing their own little thing. And I mean, they're all very similar in taste. Like no one's really like topped Monster or Rockstar or anything, but I like the formulas that they're pulling out. Like the one we shared today, Update Energy. They got paraxanthine in there. They got Infinity paraxanthine. I didn't know that one existed until today. I mean, anytime you can get more competitors to push the standard, raise the bar, you're going to get more competition, more innovation. So I think it's needed.
Do you think we're going to hit critical mass at a certain point
No.
with it to where it's not going to
You talking
not going
about
to support itself and companies are going to
competitive
start folding?
Are we talking like critical like gains?
Of course. I mean, just so many companies are going to come out with it that we're eventually going to see contraction in the energy drink market to where all these supplement companies won't have an option anymore because there's just not going to be a demand for it.
I mean, this is the sports nutrition industry. We beat off and we beat dead horses. This is what we do. So I mean, and I think we're just going to keep pushing it, and then, but it happens gradually. So like when we get to critical mass, it won't seem like critical mass. It'll just seem normal because it would have taken so long to get there. And then it'll just be small innovation, and then it'll just become second nature. And if you don't have an energy drink, you might just be left out of the group. I mean, look at pre-workouts. Shit, I don't think we're at critical mass. And Jesus Christ, how many of those do we have? Like seriously.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The cost of an energy drink, though, is the capital investment is substantially more for that than it is for a pre-workout, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's harder to get into, but it just means it'll be more meaningful when brands do it. And I mean, like I said, how many years ago? 7 years ago, 8 years ago, brands had like 2 pre-workouts, stem and stem free. Now you got moderate stem, high stem, stem free capsules. Like Apollon's got like 6 or 7 pre-workout type things. I mean, if you did that 7 years ago, people would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But because it's happened gradually, now it's okay. People are all right with it. Imagine going to the fridge and there's no like at 7-Eleven, and there's not like a single energy drink that has more than 1 row. Everyone just gets 1 row. Imagine how cool that would be. I mean, not necessarily cool, but everyone's got like 1 little slot. That'd be crazy as shit. But right now it probably seems ridiculous.
But you know what? I think when it comes to pre-workouts, it's actually very interesting because yes, the market is like fucking packed crazy with pre-workouts. They're coming out like shitload of them on a daily basis. But at the same time, the ones that stick, with a consumer, I mean, you can tell which one they are. So I don't think, in the beginning, I was personally, I'll give you a different example. When I took over Apollon Gym in 2008. So around 2009, we were struggling because I had debts to pay. And at the same time, the gym was just not doing very well. It was a dying gym. And then all of a sudden, I found out that Planet Fitness was opening around the corner from us, and they were charging $10 a month. So to me, it was, now we definitely fucked because there's a gym opening with $10 a month. There's no way we can reduce our prices. And our prices were like $40 a month. And once we went to Planet Fitness, just to check it out, kind of like to spy, as we walked in, literally just set our foot in the door, we were like, okay, we have nothing to worry about. And the same thing is like, I've seen copycats, so to speak, of Hooligan and Assassin. But look, Hooligan is already how many? 6 editions. 7th is coming out at the end of the year or next year. Assassin is 7, and 8th one is coming this summer. And they're still striving. They still, people are talking about them. There is a huge demand for them no matter what. So I think that at the end of the day, Shane actually tried already the new Assassin. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It's completely irrelevant how many products are coming out, because review products usually, when they post a pre-workout, it has the supplement facts, which I really like how they're doing it. So on Instagram, you can see the supplement facts right away, and I obviously I check it out, and pretty much all the pre-workouts are identical. They give or take, they're about the same, and they're so forgettable. You see the label, and then you never hear about it again. So I don't think it's a problem. At the end of the day, if it's a good product, like Ghost obviously has a great pump pre-workout that obviously there is demand for it. Apollon, of course. Then we have a couple of other I know that even what's his name, even though it's not my favorite pre-workout, but I know it does the rounds. Chemex has a pre-workout that apparently people like. I mean, it's kind of popular. Ninja Up has a good pre-workout that I know people like. It's also in demand. So if it's a good product, it will always find its consumer. Maybe not right away. Maybe it will take some time, but eventually it will reach it, and it will create that hype. So it's I think that the industry hasn't slowed down. I know we haven't slowed down. In fact, we just kind of like kicking into the next year. But I think it's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, I think competition is exciting. I think it's exciting that there are so many new products are coming out. I don't see much in terms of innovation, to be honest. Whether people don't want to take risk, or I don't know what it has to do with, or maybe the ingredients. Not really a lot of new cutting edge really ingredients that are kind of sticking with people. But that I would like to see improvements. I would like to see more cutting edge ingredients that actually work, and not just hyped up bullshit that that Price Plow sells it, and then 2 months later nobody talks about it. Or Robert can't stop talking shit about S7. I would like to see more innovation in ingredients, but in terms of supplements, supplement companies coming out and products, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's fine. Is European market the same, Lukasz?
It's really hard to say, but I would say that once you establish a brand, or I should say a product, let's say you have your own line of products, and that, for example, you work really hard on getting Assassin or Hooligan its name out there. So right now you can say that the product sells by itself, basically, because people know what to expect. Let's say after like Hooligan, the first edition and the second edition, people started to trust the brand, and that's how the brand succeeded. And now you're just like gathering the fruits of your labor, right? So yeah. I do think that it matters just to be trustful, and just to offer the consumers a good product straight from the get-go. So once they see that the brand is doing good and is offering the quality products, then they can just like say, take my money, right?
Okay.
Justin, thanks. I'm getting more and more customers asking these questions. People are definitely getting more picky and curious. And as they should.
Yeah.
With the wonders of the global economy right now. It makes sense. Simon says, you guys briefly touched on the Mario movie. Are you looking forward to watch Russell Crowe in the new Exorcist movie? Yes. I like Russell Crowe. I like horror movies. Yes.
That trailer looks very, very good.
Yes. It looks intense, and we saw it before John Wick 4. Sandy immediately said, I'm not going to see that. I said, well, I will. I'll go see it by myself. I'm up for a good horror movie. Although I won't. They're supposed to be rebooting the Exorcist series, and it's by the same douchebag that redid the Halloween movies, and I'm not going to watch that because I did not like the new Halloween trilogy at all.
You guys are big movie guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take inspiration to the supplements when you're like making a product? Not only via name, but let's say you're going to, let's say, to the cinema, watch a movie, right? And you're like watching a horror or something like that, and then you're like, that could be like a good good vibe for the product, something like that. What do you guys think?
I don't deal much with marketing or naming products, so no, not for me. If somebody asks me what should we call this, then I'll think about that, but I never think, that would be a good name. Usually it's, Robbie and I are kicking around a formula, and we haven't decided on a name yet, or somebody else just says, hey, what do you think of this? And I'll suggest one or two other names as well, and it'll go like that. But no, usually that kind of stuff doesn't. No. Isn't it out today?
I think it was out on Wednesday.
Mario's out, yes, but I don't think the Russell Crowe Exorcist movie is out yet.
No, I just checked actually the movie, the new releases. I didn't see it out today.
No, it comes out. And it might be different, in Europe versus here, because sometimes movies get released here earlier or vice versa.
Yeah, sometimes even American movies are released in Europe or in Asia before in America. It does happen.
Don't ask me. I'm not like huge on movies, so.
I don't know when it's getting released. April 13th, so next weekend is when it gets released. Probably good that this is Easter weekend. I don't know if it would exactly look good to release an exorcism movie on Easter weekend. Hollywood isn't very bright, but at least they were smart enough not to do something like that. Any other feedback from the listeners at large? Or if you guys have any supplements you want to discuss.
What you guys thoughts on the muscle tech comeback?
That's an interesting question, actually. You know what's funny enough? Like typically, it is expected that guys like maybe us are gonna hate on a company like Muscle Tech. I actually always liked the brand. I mean, they've done some serious moves and almost like innovators to an extent.
I like when they were spiking their protein powders. That was nice.
Who hasn't? I think that nice labels, definitely great design. I think it's very, very marketable. To be honest with you, and you, Lukasz, might disagree with me on this one. I'm not sure about blessing. I'm not sure about blessing for the company. I don't know if he works. I think he worked better for Redcon. Something just doesn't connect with me when it comes to blessing and Muscle Tech. I just don't think that he fits that brand. And again, I could be wrong. I just don't see it. Other than that, I think it's a good brand.
Just had to improve my shit. It was like the sound was fucking me off. I think you guys were all right, but my sound stuck fat dicks. Not literal, just like figuratively.
Wouldn't know what that feels like, Shane. Can you elaborate?
That was good.
Like sound quality that's so bad, it's like sucking the fat dick. I mean,
so Lukasz, what do you think about Muscle Tech and Blessing? Because like I said, I mean, for me, he doesn't work for the company. I don't know why. Like, I just don't see it. I don't think it's a good fit. But the rebrand and the new labels and all that, I really like.
First of all, I want to say that I really appreciate what Scott did so far, and it's good to see him back, because back in the days he was with MuscleTech. He was a major, a part of this company. Then he left. He did some consulting. Shane did an interview with Scott on his channel. So yeah, go check that out, because
Don't worry, someone was gonna come in at the end and remind you guys anyway. So yeah,
it had some golden nuggets. So yeah, that's pretty cool interview.
did it sound
But
good?
yeah.
I didn't listen. I didn't hear it back. I just put it up there.
Yeah, I listened to the entire thing, and yeah, it was really good. So yeah, Scott is always a great a great guest, and he always like speaks highly about you and other guys. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I agree with you as far as Blessing. I think it's like super. I don't understand the move, to be honest. I would like to to see MuscleTech just move in a different direction, but if that's what Scott wants to do, then yeah, we shall see how's this gonna turn out. But honestly, in my opinion, it's just like a move just to grab the bodybuilding community. But to me, it's more Blessing is more like a jokester, and I don't see this connection, just like you. More to be honest, they signed the Joshua Manoi or Manua or this influencer from YouTube, and I think that's a much better fit than Blessing for the MuscleTech. But yeah, we shall see how's everything's gonna turn out. So far, so good. And next week I will have a meeting with Scott at FIBO. So yeah, that's exciting.
I think the formulas are coming out are better. The branding, that doesn't really bother me one way or the other. It doesn't appeal to me, doesn't turn me off. But that's par for the course with most things. The new lineup of products is good. I'm not sold on paraxanthine. I've delved through the stuff pretty extensively, and there's a 3,000-word article on the Patreon if people want to go dig through all the ingredient. Plus, I'm about halfway through a tub of Euphoric that Scott was nice enough to send me, so thank you, Scott, for that. We're talking about Scott Welch at Muscle Insider for everybody that has no idea who we're talking about. So the flavor is good. The pumps and the focus on it are good. The first few times I tried it, there was kind of a crash that I had on it, which was strange. You just feel zapped.
Crash.
Yeah, it was. You feel like flat or bottomed out. It was weird when I tried it.
You need to get some assassin in your ass.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I've never crashed. Like there are only probably two or three times I've ever had something that I just feel completely tired after taking it. That was one of them. I used it one off last Friday. That went well. Didn't have any problems. But I don't think it is. And I get into this in the article, but I don't. Its effects are not so vastly superior to caffeine in me that it justifies or outweighs the cost, because it costs roughly about 8 times more than caffeine does right now. Caffeine has a high safety profile. It's tolerated well by most people. And for them, it's either a touch of lowering the dose or maybe adding some theanine or xylaria to it to tame it, or some other kind of calming adaptogen nootropic. I don't see any of the benefits outweighing what caffeine has to offer yet. So,
hey Robert, do you agree with the statement that the paraxanthine burns cleaner than caffeine?
Not at all. No, it's marketing hype. There's no way to prove that. You can say it's less jittery, in some people, but that's highly subjective from one person to another.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of experience I got. I wouldn't say cleaner, but I can understand how you might call it cleaner. like I can, if someone said it was clean, I could understand that. I call it like you said, less jittery. For me, I call that smooth. Like I feel like the energy is just like it is. It's kind of like it doesn't pick you. It doesn't overstimulate you. At least from what I had, it was nice and smooth. For me, it was very not. I guess it depends who you are, though, right? Because I know I've met some people and they say caffeine, like I can't have more than 200 because it like gives me headaches or it hits too hard. I could foresee this being better for them, but I noticed the difference in like 300 milligrams of caffeine versus like 300 of this. It just was much smoother for me, and I had it for a good amount of workouts. And I mean, it was I could see the difference. But then, like you said, like I wouldn't necessarily call it better. It would be from person to person. Like someone who finds like they don't like this or they don't like that. This is like not even like a good alternative. It's realistically the only alternative to caffeine if you wanted that energy of caffeine without some of those things that you might dislike about caffeine. Which I kind of liked that as an offering or an alternative. But like you said, I wouldn't say like better. I think it would go damn cool in like a nootropic, like because I mentioned that to Scott. I was like, "Are you going to put this in like a nootropic?" Because I know Muscle Tech hasn't really dived into that realm too much. I think that would go really nicely, even in an energy drink. It'd be pretty cool to see it in. But it's I think that some people could see it as better for them, not necessarily like universally.
Agreed.
Some people like that hard hitting slap. Some people like to be, shit on bricks and just slapped in the face. I guess like for that crowd, it's a little different. So I definitely think it would be the best thing for some people. Because up until now, we haven't really had an alternative, like a full-on alternative to caffeine, like something that could replace it per se, like this, or as much as this does. I think it's pretty cool just because it's different, not because like I said, it's not really a replacement or an improvement, just a nice alternative.
That's fair.
But I love everything in the industry. That's my problem.
There was something that I figured I don't really care much for athlete signings and leavings and all of that stuff. Something that was interesting was Chris Gethin parting ways with Caged Muscle.
It's not really an athlete, though, is it? It's just shit.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. So was he a co-owner of it, or was he just paid like an employee or an athlete is the thing?
I think when he started, it was because I read that announcement. I thought it was so strange that you got Chris Gethin announcing his departure. Then 2 days later, Cage announcing that it's not Chris anymore. I was like, why didn't you put it up together? It just seemed like funky to me. Usually you do like a nice joint post, see ya, here's some roses, all that shit. But I don't know. Like I think the way he phrased it was that he had. I could be wrong. I don't know anyone at K. I know some people that don't really talk to me. But like the way he phrased it was that he said his business partners and investors or something. So it made it sound like there were separate people. So him, maybe people he started with, and then maybe people that came in later. That's what I gathered from it. Either way, his views did not align with any of them, is what I gathered.
From what I gathered was that he doesn't like the direction of the brand that they're like
that's what I got.
moving forward. That's why he wanted to leave the company.
Yeah. Or I mean, which also in turn means that his view couldn't be, even if like I also gathered that it also meant that like if he said to him, "Hey, how about we change this because this is my view," that may have also been rejected, in a sense. That's what I gathered. Like when he said my view's not shared, he also means he obviously probably couldn't have his view seen by the others or whoever was involved. Interesting, nonetheless.
Yeah, but don't you think that's a bit strange? Because in every like marketing material or anything like that, they always used his voice, and even he's
not so much lately. I hadn't seen him a lot lately. Like I remember back in the day, he would do a video describing the product.
Yeah,
breaking it down.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But I think also the writing was on the wall lately because, I mean, let's face it, for the past couple of months, at least me, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen Chris being very, very active with the
Yeah,
company.
that's what I was saying. I feel like it's
Yeah.
been like this for
This was
maybe.
building up, and probably the writing was on the wall for a very, very long time because he didn't seem like he was very, very
He
involved.
might have been trying to like be okay with it. Maybe he tried to like see eye to eye. Maybe it just didn't happen. Bro, Robert, you need to turn your ad blocker off. Come on, man. Turn your ad blocker off.
Not a chance.
You didn't get one of them. You got one missing. I see one in the background. Son of
This
a
right
bitch.
here? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm
right
saying
there?
I see the ad in the background. You got one that wasn't hidden.
The bodybuilding one.
Yeah. Actually,
I think that's a
yeah.
banner. I don't know what that is, but I think this
Yeah,
I'm
man.
using the Brave browser, so it blocks most of the stuff. I don't know how it does it, but I know it.
How am I going to buy myself a golden toilet one day if dicks like you just hide all this shit? I got one through the bodybuilding.com one. Carnison verified. New era coming soon.
Yeah.
I actually have. They sent that to me. I got it. It's right here. Can't show you shit though,
Why not?
because I can't show you shit.
You want
Like-
an NDA?
Can you sit? No, I just said that to them. I wouldn't sit. I wouldn't. They said like it's not announced yet. You can see it on the tub, on the bed. There you go. This thing here. Zoom in. You can't see shit because my laptop camera is like a hairy nutsack. Look at it. You see it? These two.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
They were kind enough to send. They sent it pretty quick too.
That works.
All I know is that background. There's a chain that has information, and there's a chain that is a stacked chain. Stacked chain. All I know is there's a new era coming from bodybuilding.com, and Carnison's involved.
Yeah. There's a Shane that wants to be employed and provide and have that gold toilet, and then there's
I'm not going to ruin anyone's dreams. I'm not going to ruin a big surprise. But if you don't tell me and I find it, ooh, you bet I'm going to.
oh yeah, that's your fault. Exactly.
Is bodybuilding.com will be participating in FIBO this year?
I highly doubt it. Are they? I don't know. I'm not going, but I would assume. No,
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Maybe you know some insights.
I doubt it. I don't think so. I haven't seen them at Expo for many, many years.
Mm.
The last one was Olympia, and they partnered with someone. It was a partner with a brand. I remember that. Wow, that was a long time ago, though. Now I can actually read the comments.
Speaking of athletes, did you heard about the DLB move? So the brands that DLB and the Rob owned is probably no longer be running. So she signed with Redcon One.
It's not running everything anymore.
Yeah, you heard about that move?
I don't really mind too much, to be honest.
They're not running anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think it was within a family because, I mean, Rathcon was involved, I think, with Run Everything Labs anyway.
yeah, that's what I thought.
And Run Everything Labs was not doing very well lately. So, I wasn't surprised at all.
Because it was the same thing with Kai, wasn't it? Dynamic
Mhm.
Muscle, Kai Green came to Redcon 1, DLB. I mean, it just makes sense. Maybe it was just easier, just easier for her. Like, why put all the effort into a brand if you can just be an athlete and get paid just as much? I mean, I don't know what the deal is, but I'm sure there's something there. And Aaron's back, and Redcon 1 seems to be slaying.
I don't think Redcon's going anywhere, Chris.
No, I don't think so too.
Yeah, I think they saw it.
But the thing is that She didn't like get.
What was this AA voice?
Well, I'll get that in a second. Let Lucas finish what he was going to say.
No, I just wanted to say that she didn't get a huge amount of money just to be affiliated with the Red Quinoa. So that's a bit confusing in my opinion.
Not really. I mean, if you had to work your nuts off 8 hours a day to build a supplement brand versus not work 8 hours a day to get paid maybe
Yeah, of course.
a quarter of the much, like would you get paid
No.
200 G's to work a brand or 50 grand? Especially when they have flag nor fail. Like the supplements probably weren't anything like that. So they might have just been comparing it like, and it's been running for 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah, the clothing is still performing very well for them. So, yeah.
I mean, like Run Everything Lambs has been around for a while, so they might have seen like a trajectory and then kind of come down. And I don't really know. So maybe I'm sure they're smart people. They would have done it to make sense. I highly doubt that they're in any sort of financial trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, Shane, I've noticed lately there's an AI voice that sounds just like yours. Are you an AI voice model?
I need to find this AI voice model because I would love to hear it and use it on my site. This is fantastic. Where is this? Maybe they just stole it from the Final Scoop episodes and just turned it into an AI voice model.
Without giving me any royalties.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Justin Thompson. Have you guys heard the new claim from Perfect Amino saying 90% of whey protein converts to sugar? And that they created a, quote, perfect amino ratio amino product designed for the human body. This sounds like a ripoff of Humapro from ALR Industries /
I mean, more importantly, the sugar thing, right?
No.
Like,
bro, Humapro, that shit slaps.
I mean, there's a lot of products. There's a lot of products out now that do that EAA thing where they're like, this is the replicant of the amino acids in the human body and the human muscle and this and that. I'm more intrigued that someone's saying that whey turns into sugar.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're consuming an excessive amount of protein, the body can convert amino acids into carbohydrates. They can break the parts down, strip them down, and then they can get converted and metabolize as energy.
Would it be equivalent to sugar?
Not quite. Not on a one-to-one. Like, it's not going to be the same as a molecule of glucose.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that claim makes it sound like if I have 24 grams of protein, my fat ass is going to get 24 grams of sugar.
I've never heard of this brand. Who sells it?
I've never heard of Perfect Amino. But to be honest, the perfectly absorbable amino acid ratio is that's a good way to twist you around. Do you want sugar or do you want this?
Yeah.
I need to look this up. I hadn't heard of this.
Yeah, I don't. Anybody that's making that egregious of claims, I am highly, highly, highly suspect of.
Yeah, unfortunately, these days, someone sees that that they might believe it.
Yeah,
I could see people believing that, especially if you have the perfect amino acid ratio for the human body.
Yeah.
Is it this body health one? Is that it? Is that what I'm
seeing?
seeing?
See anything about whey protein?
So what they trying to sell? What they trying to sell? EAA formula or what?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the exact claim, I could see that. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not that vague. Let me say that they are vague enough. They say the simple answer is yes. You can get good quality protein from food such as eggs, meat, fish, and nuts, but much of that in food is not converted into body protein. which is, I don't know what that means. Sadly, much of the protein, which would in theory mean 50% or more, from common dietary sources is turned into waste, burned as calories, or converted into sugars and fats. But that's pretty. I mean,
Since when protein is converted to fat that easily.
I mean, I
To
can
me
see what
makes-
they're not necessarily saying that.
Of course, it can be in a big axis, but at the same time, it's this process is so
But I don't
inefficient. So
Could not an amino blend in excess do the same, or am I missing something there?
Yeah, well, just because you take 10 grams of essential amino acids doesn't mean your body's going to immediately take those 10 grams of essential amino acids
It'd be
and
the same
inject them
problem,
directly
wouldn't it?
into your muscle. I mean, it could strip it down to make hormones, neurotransmitters, enzymes. It could do a bunch of shit in your body.
Oh no! They have a product utilization chart. Suck a dick. So 1% of BCAAs is converted, is used to build protein. 1%. 99 of the other 99% is converted to sugar or fat. 18% of whey, soy, and nuts is anabolic. The other 82% is sugar or fat. Whole eggs, 48% is used to build muscle or protein, sorry. And then the other 52% is sugar or fats. However,
You know what I find fascinating? There is not. I just found the page you're referencing, Shane.
yeah, the
There's
99%.
not one scientific study cited.
I'm pretty amazed. Yeah, there it is. It's a nice graph. Yours looks better than mine. Mine's on mobile.
So basically, according to them, the entire research paperwork that Jose Antonio and his team did is full of shit.
Yeah, and the decades of bodybuilders eating copious amounts of protein to build muscle didn't work at all.
99%.
No, thank you.
This is like we're talking about the companies that I would write for and the ones I won't. No, when you pull in this kind of bullshit, no.
18% of protein from whey is utilized to build muscle. I mean, I'm interested to see the. Oh, there we go. BCAs. They got recommendations. Did you see that?
I just want to state one thing, and probably we may get sued for that, but who cares? That's why people need stuff like the Final Scoop and so on, just to make the clarification for the
BCA
rest.
is almost entirely converted to sugar and will not help you except for a sugar boost, followed by sugar low and potential mood swings. I mean,
And just so you guys know, there's no scientific research backing up any of these claims.
Which means false advertising, false claims, and basically lying.
Yeah.
such a weird thing to say.
This page has some sources cited, but
Where?
it's on the science behind perfect amino and amino acid utilization.
I mean, I'm not arguing that the perfect blend of amino acids could theoretically be more absorbable for use as protein, than maybe, I guess, some generic food source. But then you don't need to shit on BCAs and say that
Right.
9.9 grams of BCAs turns into sugar. And
I could agree on the effectiveness of the peptides. You know, the different sequences has a different effect on human body. But when it comes down to this shit, no, man.
I wouldn't think it would be you'd be talking about percentages, like points. I wouldn't expect to be like, 1% of BCAAs is used to build muscle, and 99%
Yeah, man.
of this is used to build muscle. That's
Yeah,
all.
man. That makes zero sense.
Like, I don't know. I've never heard that. You could have just said it doesn't work. You don't need to say that it turns into sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Fear mongering.
seriously,
But it would be
let's
nice
say
if you said that it doesn't work to actually,
Yeah.
have some legit scientific proof. Because I mean, he said, she said. I mean, it has to have some kind of not only consistency, but it also has to make sense, and it has to be verified. I can say whatever I want. I can say that, like the old Muscle Tech commercials where, what was it, like build muscle 500% more and shit like that. I mean, that was pretty crazy. But in today's day and age, this is a little extreme, and it's pushing it. And like Lukasz said, we might get sued. Look, I mean, they should get sued for this because this is completely false claims.
It's just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just confusing to me. I've never heard that protein or BCAAs can turn into sugar. Like, that's.
It's funny, because
That's Jesus type
let's
stuff.
say-
Water into wine.
let's say you're waking up in the morning and you're eating your eggs, and
Yeah.
50% of your eggs will go to your muscle, and 50% will turn out magically to fat and sugar. Wow.
Yeah.
And pure waste, right?
I mean, I know that absorptions rate vary from protein sources. Like, obviously, like if you got 100 grams of egg, not 100 grams of that's going to be used to build protein. But in comparison to this perfect amino profile, that's the thing that I'm lost upon. Huh. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just never heard BCAAs turn into sugar. That's a beautiful claim.
Yeah.
I've heard some stuff, but not that.
Next subject.
I would not support this company. That's my personal opinion.
I don't know why they haven't hit me up. I could have.
This is a load of bollocks. Simple as that. I agree.
They should have hit me up. I could have thrown it up there.
You could do an ad on your site.
Simon
That's pretty
says,
crazy.
Robbie, if you could reach out to anyone to have him or her on board with Apollon, who would it be and why?
We've been through this a few times before. I brought it up during the podcast, where I think in today's day and age, athletes, influencers, etc., they may be helping to a certain extent, but we see a proof, because it's factual, that there are brands out there that have absolutely zero athletes or people representing them, and they're doing just fine without anything. There are different marketing tools represent the brand today, so I don't think it's necessary. Although we do have ambassadors, we do have athletes, and I think they are pretty good. But the key point is that, yeah, sure, you can get hundreds, if not thousands, of ambassadors representing your brand, so they could sell your product and get commission and whatnot. But I think that it boils down to the fact that it depends on the brand. I feel like Apollon, like Laxon, like a Pro, like Pro is basically represented by Jeff Long. Let's face it, Jeff Long was not exactly a very successful bodybuilder. He was mediocre at best, with average placings, never qualified for the Olympia. I like him. I mean, I have no. This is not a personal attack or anything like that. I'm just stating facts. Lukasz follows bodybuilding. Knows. Jeff Long never achieved any greatness in bodybuilding, but yet his supplement brand, although not big, he is, I would say, rather successful, considering that he runs the company with his wife. I don't think they have any employees. Even if they have maybe one or two, they're doing everything to by themselves, packaging, sending, mailing products, marketing, everything, just the two of them basically. So I'm pretty sure they're making more than enough money to support the family, which is great. So it's a successful brand. without any athletes, without any ambassadors, as far as I know, or maybe just a few friends or something. So I think it's more than possible. But if you do have an athlete or you have a brand ambassador representing your company, that it's very, very, very important to fit. I remember having this conversation with Shane during the pandemic when we were kind of in initial stages of potentially getting branch worn. And one thing he said to me was, he fits the brand. And that's, I think, the key point, that athlete that represents your company has to fit your brand. Like I said earlier, like Robert writes articles for Apollon. He cannot write articles for Apollon like he would write, for example, for, I don't know, NutraBio, or if he would write for Muscle Tech or anyone else, because Apollon is a different species. It's a completely different brand with a different language, with a different approach. I think the same applies to athletes who would represent the brand. I honestly, nobody comes to mind specifically that definitely 100% fits the brand. I think that because of the craziness of the products and innovation, and the fact that we're willing to do certain things that others are not, we're willing to take a risk, and we're willing to go where, I do feel like in our space, we're sort of leaders. So I think that requires somebody who is probably speaks the same language as we do, and somebody who is proud to be who he is. So I think somebody like maybe Lee Priest would probably be good for Apollon Nutrition. I know Lee kind of represents Apollon Gym, and he helps us promote the gym, that side of our business. And the response to him is absolutely incredible, because he's Lee. Love him or hate him, he is who he is, and that's pretty much take it or leave it approach. And it's the same approach that Apollon has. So somebody along the lines like Lee Priest, Dana Lynn Bailey, probably the older version, not the current, the newer version, I think was a real badass girl. So I think she would have, fit the brand very, very well. So somebody along the lines like that, but just somebody who is either a pretty face or has a great physique or lots of followers, or or been with multiple brands or has multiple titles. That's not necessarily the key. You've got to have something unique to represent, I think, a brand like Apollon that is a unique brand that kind of stands out of so many brands. So that's pretty much my answer.
Would you ever consider having like influencer in your team?
Again, it depends. Like, for example, Evogen is big on influencers. They have a lot of influencers, and I think it kind of works for them. But I think our influencers are us. Our influencers are people like Robert, who can write and explain the brand and or a product. Our influencers are probably people like David Fredrickson, DS. David is very good when it comes to reviews, and I think it's somebody who can explain the products that we are making, so that can influence the right customer that looks for top brands and premium supplements. I think, not to tune my own horn, but I think I'm a great representative for my own brand. I think Carolina is a great representative for the brand. I think if somebody like Lukasz, who speaks highly of Apollon and works for internationally recognized and well-respected company, says positive things, then Lukasz can influence others to possibly, give Apollon a chance, give us a look. So I think that just an influencer because he has 1 million or 2 million or 5 million followers and possibly jumps from brand to brand, I don't think it's enough. It might work for for a company that is a little bit more mainstream, like, not to insult Sadiq, but Sadiq is a pretty face, kind of a model influencer, not just an athlete. And I think for Salucor, he fits great. He's ideal. Would Sadiq fit Apollon? I'm not sure. Even though Sadiq has an incredible following, and I know people probably would buy from him, but is it the right representation of the brand like Apollon? I'm not convinced. I think Branch Warren, who is retired, who is pushing 50 and has that rugged look and that crazy approach to training, somebody who on video does double scoop of Hooligan, which obviously I don't recommend, but I think that kind of represents the brand a little bit better. I mean, again, I could be wrong. It's just an opinion.
Chris, Robbie, do you have a release date for the next Assassin? And whose face or likeness will be on the label?
Shane's was the first one to try, so Shane's going to be on the label.
Don't believe I was the first to try it. You told me who else tried it.
Well, you kind of were a VIP who tried it. No, yeah, Shane and his voice, apparently he's very, very good. His AI voice, so we'll use that for commercial.
Gotta turn that ad blocker off, man. You're killing me.
Sorry. If you put the perfect amino up, I'll turn off the ad blocker. I want to support them as much as possible.
You're supporting me by supporting everybody else.
I have somebody in mind to be the face of Assassin, and I think it will surprise a lot of people.
Okay. Outstanding. All right. Last call for any comments, questions, query, quips, or smart-ass remarks from the peanut gallery watching. Thank you all for tuning in. While we give them some time to get any last-minute questions in. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, before we close this thing out?
Beautiful reunion. I should have bought my. I swear I had my webcam in my fucking bag. I don't know where the hell it's gone.
It's a beautiful reunion, but I feel like it went. I expected it to be very R-rated. It was very PG-13. It was very respectful.
We're much wiser. We're much more mature now. We're growing up.
We're old.
We're a year older. Is FIBO going to look? FIBO is lined up to be pretty good, right, Lukasz?
Yeah, it's going to be busy time. So yeah, but I'm not gonna skip the next episode. So don't you guys worry. I will be there.
I was gonna go, but then I heard it was like it didn't kind of have too many high hopes. Like at the start of the year, no one ever really said that it was like that great. Like people I asked if they weren't going, and then since February, everyone's asking if I'm bloody going, and I was like, well, it's too late now.
You know, it's funny because right now I'm getting like messages from across the world, from people from Canada and other like parts of the world, and they're all saying, yeah, we will be there on this time, and we'll be there on that time. And do you have time to catch up, to meet up? And I'm happy to say that we don't have any booth or anything like that, so I will have more time than normally. Because when it comes to when we had like a booth or something, you have to like be on the stand and just like also sell some products. But yeah, now I will have like more free time, just to like spend time with clients, partners, and so on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I've heard that like plenty of German brands will be there. The basically entire France is coming as well. So yeah,
I didn't see what's his name, Rocker. I didn't see who was in there. Are they there?
Yeah, they're lined up as well. Yeah.
I thought I didn't see them.
Lukasz, is the one in Birmingham coming back?
I don't know about that yet, man. I've heard some rumors.
I got inside track on you for that one.
Yeah, from what I've heard, because they're still planning, Arnold. But if it's not gonna be if the event's not gonna be named as Arnold, then they probably will go back to a Body Power.
I don't know if I'm dreaming this but I think I heard Arnold UK is coming 2024. I could be wrong.
remember, guys, what happened last time. The day when we arrived to UK, they changed the name. So
For the day of the first show, you went to the Instagram page and you refreshed it, and it changed.
It wasn't called Arnold anymore. It was
Experience
sports
with.
festival or experience something, some bullshit.
Yeah, experience with. It was pretty crazy. If Prometeus comes back next year, I will go to FIBO. I needed to be good enough for Lars to bring his house in order for me to think is good enough.
Yeah, Lars is not expecting anything from this year, so
is he going? Is he just sending everybody? Or
yeah. Well, the entire team will be there, but Lars saying it's not gonna turn out that well as everyone's saying. But I'm the only. Honestly, I'm the only believer in my team that's saying that this year is gonna be a great for FIBO. So
I think it'll take another year to go back to what it was. If it goes back to what it was, I'll be there. I don't think it'll be this year. I just can't imagine it being this year.
I think it's gonna be this year.
You think it's gonna be back to normal this year?
Yes, I do so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I love supplements, but I don't know. That seems like a big ask.
I checked the exhibitors lists, and basically all the space is booked up. And
are their tickets sold out? Because if you remember, the tickets were sold out like months before the event. As far as I know, that's not the case now.
I don't know about the weekend, because I'm going on Wednesday and I'm staying till Saturday, so I didn't check what will turn out on Saturday and Sunday. But I've got plenty of meetings lined up for my days, so I will have plenty of work to do. So
I'll email Lars on Monday, and I'll ask him, and then I'll email you and ask you, and I can guarantee you both of you will say something different.
Yeah, do that for sure.
Chris, Lukasz, how have things changed in your locality?
What do you mean changed?
With the, I don't want to get us kicked off YouTube. I'm going to put this delicately.
With
the situation
C19?
in Eastern Europe.
The stuff.
Everything is back to
Eastern
normal.
Europe, with there being a mass exodus of people coming into Poland.
Everything is back to normal. The only change that happened is that we've got somewhere around 10 million Ukrainians on board, and besides that, plenty of people from Ukraine migrated to Poland, but they also migrated from Poland to other countries, in Europe. We were the main hub when the war started, and after that, people started to just like relocate, just because they wanted to find a new job or something like that. But Polish schools and Polish people helped a lot, with giving people from Ukraine the options to work and so on. So here in the streets, especially right now when Easter is coming, you can hear plenty of Ukrainian speaking. So yeah, that's right now. I think that's normal. Like if you could ask me, I don't know, half a year ago, I would tell you, man, this is odd. But now this is just normal thing, As far as the Poland aspect, we are all secure, so we are not scared about Russia or anything like that. So that's a good thing. As far as the situation with the C19, no, this is all over. So you can travel safely with no risk or anything like that. So that's good.
I like how Robert tried to avoid the keywords and then Lukasz just said them all.
Yeah. Yeah, and
kicked off YouTube, but here you go.
the only thing that still is tricky is the business with Russia, because the border is closed. So I've heard some rumors, that the Russian brands are doing what they can to import products from completely different routes. So they're like using Baltics to import products to their locations, but it all takes time and it's pretty tricky. But I don't want to get into this shit. So let's hope everything will turn out good as far as FIBO, and we'll move from there.
Creamy. How much do carbs help facilitate transporting or aiding in the absorption of electrolytes? Robbie, will the hydration product have more than 30 servings? Answer that one first, Robbie. That'll be a much easier answer.
As far as I remember, it will be 30 servings.
Okay. Creamy, I do not know that number off the top of my head. Carbohydrates will facilitate better absorption of electrolytes because most of the carbohydrates are taken up through the SGLT1 transporter, which is the sodium-dependent glucose transporter. It's going to depend on activity level, a bunch of genetic markers, your body weight, height, all of that kind of stuff. And it's a wide spectrum. I don't know a specific number off the top of my head, but when I just saw the question pop up, I just started trying to do some hunting, and I need to read through this whole study. But kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, this is 2010 review from the International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism. Water and solute absorption from carbohydrate electrolyte solutions in the human proximal small intestine, a review and statistical analysis. So I have the full paper right here, which I need to dig into. It's 16 pages long, including references, so 14 and change. But it pretty much says what I was going with earlier. So we've got, multiple types of carbohydrates in the ingested carbohydrate electrolyte solutions play a critical role in stimulating carbohydrate, sodium, total solute, and water absorption. Carbohydrate concentration is negatively related to water absorption. So just because you take in more carbohydrates doesn't mean more water is being absorbed, is what that says. Exercise may result in greater water absorption than rest. Multiple types of carbohydrate in a carbohydrate electrolyte solution facilitate water absorption by stimulating carbohydrate and solute absorption and lowering osmolality in the intestinal lumen. Water absorption in the small intestines is influenced by osmolality, so it's kind of the molecular weight of the compounds in there, all the solutes in there, solute absorption, and anatomical structure. So simple carbohydrates versus complex, or like a highly branched cyclic dextrin versus sucrose versus lactose, maltose, any of those other kind of things. So there's not like a cut and dry, hey, take 10 grams with 1,500 milligrams of sodium, which I realize that is a very high amount of sodium. So it's not something cut and dry like that. It's going to be a little bit more nuanced. But I'll dig through this, and maybe I'll put this on the next newsletter blast, supplement engineer site, or Patreon blast. But that's a good topic. I'm looking for something new after I just wrote the deep dive into the Olympus Labs pre-workout. Chris, thank you, gentlemen. Great show. Thank you for tuning in, Chris. We appreciate it. As all of you that submitted questions, participated, and all of you that are catching this on the replay, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment down below, or some angry rant that you don't like anything we said, or anything like that. We're fine with that. Turn on notifications. Do not subscribe to Stacked because it's late today.
Motherfuckers. God damn it.
Go check out the Hooligan Chronicles podcast on Robbie's YouTube channel. Support that show. Thanks, Rob. Always cool to pick green. You're welcome, Creamy. Reach out to Lukasz. He's very active on the socials, posting content. Reach out to him if you have any questions, comments, queries, or quips, or smart-ass remarks.
Robert, if I may say one thing,
Yeah, sure.
I've listened to today's podcast that Robert launched with Ari from Garage Gym Homie, right? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and it was pretty good. So if you guys didn't had a chance to listen to the entire interview, please check it out, because I've gained a lot of respect for the guy, and honestly, I do think that the show is a great one, and what is Robbie doing with his guests is pretty fantastic, and he's asking a lot of cool questions, you know. So yeah, if you don't subscribe to his channel, just check it out. Otherwise, your life will be miserable. So yeah.
That's a great aggressive promotion. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for guys. Really, this was great. Thank you.
All right, one and all, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you later.